Are we here? We better be here. We're here. Right. So the issue seemed twofold. First off, my headphones no longer work. I can only hear in one headphone, and I cannot hear like the full sound. I just hear, like, for example, I played a song before I turned on streaming just to check on the audio, and I wasn't hearing the voice of the person singing. I was just hearing the background music, which is weird. And second of all, Windows had messed up my devices, and I would hope now I fixed it. But let's see. Yeah, and well, you'll have to excuse these headphones. They are my old ones. They have a mic attached. I cannot take it off, but at least I can hear things. So that's that. Yeah. Let's see.
午前10時を示す時計を見ながら
I can hear
私
it.
は考える。
Can you guys hear it? Please tell me you do. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's go. This is weird, but try to ignore it.
今日は土曜日だから学校はお休みのはずだ。まだレンジ君は寝ているかもしれない。お姉ちゃんは何をしているのだろう。みんながどんどん歩いていく。早かったり遅かったり行ったり来たり。
I understand, but I already have like a lot of things in my field of vision. If I had this too, it would be a bother. Nobody needs to know. I mean, if it looks more natural to you, I could try, I guess. But yeah. Man, it's been a while since I streamed this way.
進む方向もスピードも全く違うけれど、誰もが一歩一歩未来に進んでいる。そんな時間の概念を地面にしたような世界で、私だけがぼんやりと立ち止まっている。歩こうとすると、ジャリッと鉄の擦れる音がした。なんだろうと足元を見ると、足首に鎖が巻きついていて、私は通り過ぎていく人たちを追いかけようと走る。しかし鎖がそれを許さない。
Hey Beatrice, sorry that I stopped stream right as you were saying hi and I missed it. My bad. But hey, we're here. We have sound, and I can also hear it, so it's good.
ぐるっと一定の距離を保ったまま円を描くのが限界だった。私はまるで算数の授業で教わった円の面積を求める問題の中に示された羊のようだ。牧草地帯の真ん中に木の杭を打ち込み、そこに羊を結びつけました。むしゃむしゃと羊が草を食べ尽くして出来上がる円があります。さて、円の面積はいくつでしょう。あの問題を思い出すたびに牧草を食べ尽くした羊が飢え、ゆっくりと死んでいく姿を思い浮かべてしまう。どこまでも果てしない草原を目の前にして餓死する羊だ。そんな羊を犠牲にして私たちは円の面積を求める。半径を2乗して円周率 3.14 をかける。半径。鎖の長さは13時間だ。おかしな思考にため息をつきながら現実に目を戻す。10時4分。4分の時間が過ぎ、4分の記憶が失われた。いつから私は円の外に出ることを諦めたのだろう。 みんなが消えていく先にあるものを夢見ていたのはいつまでのことだったのだろう。それすらも覚えていない。無意味だ。こんなことを考えているうちにまた30秒の時間が失われる。私はゆっくりと部屋を見渡す。ここにあるものはほとんどが私の知っている姿そのままだった。模様替えで家具の配置を変えてしまうと翌日以降の自分が困るからだ。お姉ちゃんにもそういう面で随分と迷惑をかけてしまったのではないか。そう思うことしかできない。
Pio-chan is on the desk though. He's cute. I wanna squish it.
何の実感もない停滞した世界。それでもそこにひよこのぬいぐるみが新しく置かれていた。
Pio-chan.
5日前の私が望んだ変化があった。レンジ君。私は彼の名前を無意識につぶやいていた。その名前の価値を今日の私は知らないが、ぬくもりを胸に覚え、自然と微笑みが浮かぶ。あったかい名前。そうだ。メール見なきゃ。私は数少ない日課。姉からのメールが届いているであろうことを思い出し、机に座る。パソコンを立ち上げながら、内心、自分が姉以外の人間に心を許していたことにドキドキした。
千尋へ、元気にしていますか？
姉からのメールはいつもの文面で始まっていた。けれど、ここ数日元気のあった姉の言葉にまた陰りが見えてい
た。映画撮影の話、いろいろあって止まっちゃったわ。なんか先輩が前にいた部活の方でゴタゴタがあったとかで、何かしてる方が楽かなってやってただけだし、別にいいんだけど、テストが近いから我慢して勉強した方がいいのかもしれないけど、それもね。
どこかから元気にも見える内容に思わず寂しさを覚えてしまう。その原因は映画撮影の中止だけではなかった。
そういえばおととい街でお兄ちゃんを見かけたわ。前に話した彼女と一緒に仲良さそうに歩いてた。目にしたのは後ろ姿だけだったし、声はかけなかったんだけど、ふと思ったわ。どうしてお兄ちゃんの隣を歩いているのが私じゃないんだろうって。そんなの当たり前だって分かってるんだけど、でも自分がまだそんなことを考えてしまうんだってことが。今日はもう何を書いてもダメね。千尋に愚痴っても悪いし、こんなことは自分で何とかしなきゃ。明日にはちゃんとしてるから。ごめんね、千尋。
お姉ちゃん。お姉ちゃんは立ち止まっている自分に焦っているのだろう。私にはわかる。私だからわかる。一つ深呼吸してキーボードに指を置く。普段は甘えてばかりいるからこそ、こんな時くらい少しでも姉の役に立ちたかった。多分お姉ちゃんはやりたいことが見つからないんじゃないんだと思うよ。本当にやりたいことがあるから。他に何かないかって無理に考えても見つからないんだと思う。それはすぐ目の前にあるはずだから。自分を騙すのは辛いことだよ。私にはわかる。私だからわかる。ヒロお兄さんとのこともそう。あの頃は毎日が暖かくて 楽しくて悲しいことが起こるだなんて少しも考えなかった。未来のことなんて何も考えていなかった。私たちは子供だったから。それは私にとってはつい昨日みたいなことで、今のお姉ちゃんがいるべき時間ではないのだ。でも思い出は大切だからこそ、それを言い訳にしちゃいけないんだと思うの。立ち止まって振り返ってばかりいるとみんなに置いていかれちゃうから。お姉ちゃんは走っている時こそ輝いていて、私はそんなずっと前を走っているお姉ちゃんの背中に憧れてたから。私もやってみる。だから一緒に頑張ろう、お姉ちゃん。自分の心に浮かんだ言葉をしたため、私は小さく息をつく。姉に向けた言葉に嘘はない。私たちは双子のくせに性格は全く似ていなくて、だからこそ正直に思いを伝え合うことができた。だから姉への言葉の中に
Hey, Infinity and
自分への答えを見たのだ。一緒に頑張ろう、お姉ちゃん。思いを言葉にしながら机の一番下の引き出しを開いた。
Cute-chan! Oh, it looks so fuzzy!
そこは宝物をしまった場所。4年前までのアルバムとか卒業文集とか日記とか、
Oh, I'm glad to
私
hear
が
that.
普通に思い出せる懐かしい品物が詰まっている。
I'm a little bit swamped with work, but I'm looking forward to this long weekend that's gonna happen for me this week. So yeah, so far so good. Taking it day by day, and right now just trying to relax a little bit with the VN. Thanks for asking.
大切な大切な宝物のお墓。思い出すと辛いから、ずっと時を止めていたのに。本当にあの園の外に出られるの？羊は生贄の象徴だ。私は鎖につながれたまま、たまに園の中を通り抜けていく人と接触する。ある人はそこで足を止めて外の世界の話をしてくれる。でもいずれ去っていく。時間は流れる。残酷なほど平等に、私以外に平等に。ヘンジ君もそうかもしれないのに。夢、引き出しの中に手帳がある。それが私の夢の形なんだそうだ。4年前に閉ざされた私に代わり、4年間で綴られた物語。自覚ではなく、日記にそう書かれているから知っているだけの物語。ごめんね。私はその物語に謝った。ずっと私の都合で時を止めていてごめんなさい。手帳を手に取った。書き上げてあげるから。
Yeah, let's
決
go.
意が揺るがないように声に出す。そう。これは決意だ。私は決めたのだ。きちんと手帳にもそれを記した。準備は整った。今日が始まる。そして何よりも今日は彼に会って絶対に聞かなくてはならないことがあった。
Excitement!
レンジ君、昨日私を抱きしめたりキスしたり告白したりしたのは本当なんですか？
What? Having skipped the greetings, I twitched when I heard the topic abruptly skip to my rejection. Chihiro was here in the same state as always, but her cheeks were a subdued red. Hey Game Fixer, how are you? That was when I realized. In her mind, she probably viewed it as an incident that occurred, though not to herself. Sorry. No, I didn't kiss you. She responded to this by bringing her hands to her face in disbelief.
じゃあ他のことはしたんですね。
That situation was almost like an act of God.
どさくさ紛れでもひどいです。
She looked up at me and frowned.
他に何か変なことしてないですよね。
What do you mean?
それはその
Fidgeting, she blushed even more. What sort of awful things was she picturing me doing? I really wanted to know. Well, I didn't do anything strange. I didn't remember doing anything worthy of such a stare. Probably.
わかりました。信じます。今後は注意してください。
I drew in a sigh of relief.
それでこれを
She took a notebook out of her pocket. What's this? I took it and gazed at the front and back covers.
小説のアイデア帳みたいなものです。
Ah.
私が帰ったら読んでいいです。
Huh? You're going home already?
誰かが自分の話を読んでるのを見てるなんて。
I feel that. Was it really that embarrassing? Okay then, I'll read it all today.
つまらなかったらこの話はなしにしてくださいね。
Understood. This blunt situation made me frown. Still, it was important that I obliged. Finished with her business, Chihiro bowed and left. It was too bad that we didn't get to talk, but I'd always wanted to read her story. I took a seat on the bench and immersed myself in her round, cute writing. Well, currently I haven't written that much, but there was a point in my life where I wrote a lot, yes. I do have ideas though. I want to sit down and start putting them down. With all the commotion at work and other stuff that's happening in my life, I haven't managed to. You wrote a story once? Oh, how awesome! Good job. You want to loosely share what it was about? Oh no! That can't be true.
女の子は世界に一人。だから彼女は神様だ。
Man, I love this story. I'm getting shivers already. Just from the first two sentences.
女の子は物心がついた時には島にいた。島には一つの屋敷と、その屋敷と回廊でつながる古城があった。
This is... Yeah, they reproduced it precisely in the anime, because this seems incredibly familiar. Like, even the way things are phrased is just like it was there.
そんな場違いな建築物がどんな目的でそこに建てられたのか彼女にはわからない。
I do have some maybe shorter things in my blog, but the biggest things that I wrote were in Romanian though, so that you probably cannot do. Yeah. I mean, you can train your voice to find a more efficient way to put what you want to say into words. I totally am with you that there is always space for improvement there. But that doesn't mean you're terrible. Needing practice doesn't equal terrible, you know? If you have something to say, then that's all you need to have to be a writer, if that's your thing. If it's not your thing, then again, that's also fine. Yeah.
知る必要もなかったし、 元からそこにいただけの女の子が疑問に思うこともなかった。城の倉庫には保存食や生活雑貨が山のように積まれていて、飢えることはなかった。それが食べられるものだと認識するまでは飢えたが。しかし病気や怪我で何度か死にかけた。色や匂いの変わった食べ物、手近な植物とか無機物を口にして死にそうになったことが一番多かった。女の子は屋敷を居住スペースにして、古城にはほとんど足を踏み入れなかった。特に区別する必要はなかったのだが、単に生活するのに古城の方が不向きだったという合理的な判断だった。
Oh, Clinton. ああ。
何もすることがなかった。島は狭く、徒歩でも半日あれば一周できるくらいしかない。海岸から見える景色は360度。どこも海と空と雲と水平線でしかなかった。
Oh.
それが世界のすべてだった。
That's endearing in a way. At least in my mind. I know you're not. Ah, it's so good. Is my blog linked? Yes, it's linked under the stream. Unfortunately, I don't really have like stories there. I have just like some random scribbles. Some are in Romanian. There's some in English too. There are some poems. I was trying to make poems at some point, but not with rhymes because I can't make stuff rhyme. I was just, I guess, trying to phrase things in a certain cadence and rhythm. I have that. What else is there? There's a post every year that I write for a friend on our anniversary, so that's what you're gonna find. There's some stuff that I just, you know, just captures my feelings at some moments in time. Oh, I have two posts from when I was in Germany, actually. That reminds me. That's cool. Those are in English. And in one of them, I even linked a melody from F because it was just what inspired me at the time. I guess you could have a little bit of like, get an idea of like what I sound like when I write something, I guess, from those. But yeah, I don't have like proper stories. The sad stuff in Clan, which I cannot share for spoiler reasons. I really like that, and she hates it. I guess I don't think she necessarily hates the sadness of it. It's just maybe some of the way, some of the points of it that are executed in a certain way. It's not really her cup of tea. You can only make stuff rhyme? That's cool. I appreciate that and respect it in a person. I can't. I'm like, no, rhyming is not for me. Bye. She hates the first feeling of it. Alright, I see. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I suppose. Like I said, in the execution of it, something it's not really jiving with her style. Right. We're back here. The story wasn't difficult to follow so far. To put it briefly, she experienced many failures. To improve herself, she turned to the books in the mansion's library for information. Little by little, she gained knowledge and became interested in humans. Everything written in the books was about humans, so she studied them. She wanted to learn about them. She wanted to make them. So she began to paint pictures. She painted the mansion and its surrounding landscape on an island, and added a boy. Then one day, the boy in the picture came to life. Her ideas ended there. The remaining pages went on about similar plots. Perhaps on different days, Chihiro's impression of the characters would change, so this was the result of the subtle differences. But if you glanced over it, you could comprehend that there was a central theme. If I had to determine that founding theme, it was the feelings towards personal relations, a story about the loneliness the girl felt. Yes, appreciate you skating around the spoilers, Clinton. Sorry, I didn't read that, but what is this? Hand drawn to my chin in thought, I was speechless. My initial thought was that it was abnormal. At first, everything the girl did was lacking conventional wisdom. She couldn't distinguish organic and inorganic matter, and she didn't understand concepts such as color or existence. In the first place, she didn't seem to have enough nouns. Even the story itself began without giving us her name. As a whole, it somewhat resembled Daniel Keyes' Flowers for Algernon! Oh! Oh, that story in my heart. Oh. The character's IQ slowly rose, and so the surroundings changed to reflect that. I couldn't call it a prominent idea in the world today, and Chihiro's writing could only be labeled as scrolls. Nevertheless, the protagonist's world seemed to spread before my eyes as I continued reading. It wasn't that the composition was clever, the organization was nothing special. Rather, it's likely that both were pretty poor. However, the portrayal chilled me in the same way as an apparition would. I shivered. The temperature had fallen below freezing. No, I was probably just imagining that since my body was shaking. How was she able to write such a story? I took my eyes away from the notebook that I had read over and over and looked at the station exit Chihiro had left through. Did she really write this?
それは簡単なことだ。
Mr. Himura rejected my question.
どんな内容なのか俺も見たことがないから知らないが、千尋にとって文字を書くということは生き抜くことと同じだからな。文章、絵でも音楽でも、それらの生まれた理由の根源に千尋が近いってことさ。
That wasn't exactly easy to understand. Could you please explain it a bit more clearly? He grunted and let his gaze wander for a moment.
つまり他者へのイメージの伝達だ。
Transmitting an image.
そう。千尋は消えてゆく自分の姿を日記として翌日以降につなげようとしているのは知ってるな。
I nodded. He straightened himself like a teacher before continuing.
もちろん日記というのは自分から自分へ当てるものだ。しかし千尋でなくても過去の自分とそれを読んでいる未来の自分はあくまでも別の存在だ。現代の日記が本来の意味で使われてるかというと微妙だから、報告書とか交換日記だと思えばいい。つまり自分のイメージをどれだけ正確に他人に伝えられるか、その精度が問題になる装置だ。
He took a moment to think before speaking again.
楽しかったって一言だけしか書いてない日記と、いつどこで誰がどうして楽しかったかまで書いてある日記は別物だ。文字だけじゃなくて絵も音楽も全ての創作物の根源がそれだ。他者へのイメージ伝達、共感の概念。そこに千尋が文章を書く目的が近いってわけさ。
But Chihiro couldn't have accumulated that kind of ability. I understood the concept, but somehow that question just came to mind.
どうだろうな。学んだことじゃなくて元からの才能かもしれない。覚えてなくても体に染み込むものがあるかもしれないし、死ぬ気で伝えようとしてるから出てきた力かもしれない。どうしてって話になると俺にも詳しくはわからないけどな。でも人間には目が見えなくなって耳が異常に良くなるとか、手が動かない代わりに足の力が強くなるとか、そういうことがある。どこかがバカになるとどこかが聡くなるんだ。回路の問題かもしれない。 天才は左脳のストッパーが弱いという話もあるし。そんなにすごかったのか？
Huh?
千尋の書いてる話さ。
His expression slackened. Yeah, a little. I responded with a non-committal answer. My promise of not divulging the story was already half broken, but I still had to do what I could to keep it.
そうか。まあ、もうここまで来たら、それが書き上がることを祈ろう。
Are you a Christian?
冗談にもならんな。祈るってのは動詞だ。そういう行動だよ。
Contrary to what he had said, he smiled and shook his head. When I saw that, I remembered something I had wanted to ask for a while. What kind of person are you? What kind of question is that?
何者って？
Whether it's for work or for personal reasons, why are you always in a church when you're not a Christian?
会いたい人がいたんだ。ここで会うはずだった。
I didn't know who or what he was talking about, but it seemed like he was satisfied with that as an answer. Why did you use past tense?
昔の話だからな。
He looked around.
俺は神父でもカウンセラーでもない。人の懺悔を聞いたり、人に説教する資格そのものがない人間なんだよ。
Clinton abruptly cut your wings of hope hardly manifested. Sorry.
それでも、あえて先達として忠告させてもらうなら。
I feel you though, Clinton, I feel you. His expression flattened and he looked down at me.
小説も友達ごっこもいいが、決して千尋自身に深入りはするなよ。
あれ？
I think it's too late for that.
レンジ君ですよね。
That's right. It was the same exchange as always, except the order was reversed. Rather than worrying too much about what Mr. Himura said to me, I came early wanting to talk about the novel.
お待たせしてすみませんでした。
I see. Mm-hmm. We never agreed on any specific time, so don't worry about it. Chihiro had a prim and proper attitude today. It was subtle, but little by little I had been noticing those differences. It's not that cold today, but I'm a little hungry.
そろそろお昼ですから。一度帰りますか？
I wouldn't mind going home and making something to eat, but it might be nice to go out somewhere instead. Would you like to go with me? If we pass by a restaurant, Chihiro might feel like eating too. Besides, I wanted to go somewhere warm to talk about the novel.
いいんですか？
It's fine.
ちょっとびっくりしました。
Why is that? I tilted my head, wondering what was so surprising.
レンジ君が料理するのを見るのは面白そうです。
Huh? Why am I cooking?
レンジ君の家でご飯を作るって言ったじゃないですか。
Oh, I would love to do that. Yes. Yes, I would be 100% on board. You just tell me what it is, give me the deadline, and I will do my best. Yeah, exactly. See, Infinity N gets it. No, Clinton! No, no! You're among friends, no one would think that. It's all good. I mean, yes, turn your actual real life experience into a story. But that would be just too meta, like, Storyception. Did I say that? I guess I did. It seemed I had a tendency to let things like that slip.
ダメですか？
Well, it's fine, but I rubbed my temples and groaned. I was more or less ready to cook anything, but the problem was whether or not my mother would be home. That could cause an unpredictable situation. If that were to be my fate, I'd probably end up being trampled by her teasing.
ご迷惑でしたら別に構わないのですが。
Oh, that's so cool! Wanna share just generally a loose idea of what it's about? Yeah! Yeah, go ahead, Oddly Manifested. I would love to do that. Maybe Beatrice would be on board too. She hasn't said much tonight. No, I guess it's okay. She seemed like she was looking forward to it, and at the very least it would be an interesting diversion. If there's anything in particular that you'd like to eat, let me know. I can pick up the ingredients I need on our way back.
はい、何でも大丈夫です。
Alright! That's nice. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. Actually, this reminds me, there was this thing that Grace Helbig did on YouTube at some point, organizing this kind of community written story. Like, she wrote the beginning and the end chapters, and the chapters in between, they would all be given a theme and a week or so of deadline, and everyone could just write whatever they thought would be a good continuation to the story that fit the theme, and submit it via Wattpad. And they chose kind of a winner each week, and just the story turned out basically from what everyone wrote, plus the beginning and end that she wrote. And I got my part chosen for one of the weeks, which was cool. I participated mostly for the experience of it, and then it was picked. It was a fun experience. It really revived me in a moment when I was struggling with my PhD and feeling really, really low and stuff. And yeah, it reminded me of something that I loved and brought me joy. So I would definitely love to participate in something like that. Thank you. Thank you.
グリーンピース以外なら。
No green peas. Aww. She earnestly corrected herself. You don't like them? They never really struck me as having a taste.
食感がどう。
I was about to say it was probably the texture, not the taste. I see. By the way, can you cook?
料理ですか。
She brought her hand to her cheek and stared at nothing.
作れなくはないのですが、絶対に口にしてはいけません。
Oh god, dude, no. Don't interrupt our good vibe. Just go away, please. Thank you. Bye.
どうもうちの家系は本人の才能とは関係なく料理との相性が良くないようなので。
I see. In other words, she couldn't.
おかえりなさい。もう帰ってきたの？
You're home? I had felt like there was a 50-50 chance, but she was relaxing in the living room. Looks like making Chihiro wait outside was the right call. I came home to have something to eat, but I brought a friend with me.
ごめん。後半をもう一回。
Oh, what a mean mom! I brought a friend with me. She brought her hand to her cheek and bent her head sideways, the same way Chihiro did. Was this the same tempo that everyone marched to?
爬虫類？
No. I'd be inclined to say mammal.
犬か鳥でも拾ってきたの？
More along the lines of a person.
人類の友達ができたって嘘じゃなかったの？
Yeah, that was the truth. Please don't make a scene about it.
ラジャーです。
Rajanis. She's gonna make a scene about it. Hearing the worst reply ever, I went back outside. What a supportive mammal. Since when is a bird a mammal? I don't know.
大丈夫でしたか？
Had she heard our conversation? She stood there looking anxious. Well, I expected this much, so it's fine. For now, let's go inside.
お邪魔します。
I found her timid delivery to be a bit charming. Oh,
あらあらあらあらあら
so much for not making a scene.
いらっしゃいませ。レンジの友達って女の子だったのね。
はじめまして。新藤千尋です。
ご丁寧にどうも。麻生すみれです。
レンジ君のお姉さんに。
妻です。
Chihiro's face! Oh my god. She turned to me with an expression of absolute shock. No, I'm really sorry. Though I refuse to believe it, she's actually my mother.
お母さんなんですか？
はい。
Interactions with my mother were usually like this, possibly due to her apparent youthfulness. That should be enough for the self-introductions.
こちらの方がまだ。
Ah, this is our neighbor, Mr. Kuze.
どうも
God.
笑顔が光る好青年です。
I said Mr. Kuze again. It sounds so weird to me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna revert to Kuze-san. A nice young man with a bright smile. A good self-description.
こんにちは。
Hmm? Where did you come from?
化粧室
He was always a gentleman in front of females.
そうそう。久世さんと一緒にお茶をしてたんだけど、驚いてて言うの忘れてた。
So he's here too. The situation was the unexpected of the highly unlikely. In other words, it was the absolute worst case scenario. No, it's fine. Forget about it.
悟ってきちゃったな。
I brushed up his disruption and faced everyone, donning an apron. I was going to make lunch, but should I make enough for 4?
私たちはさっき食べたから大丈夫よ。
千尋ちゃんの相手は俺たちに任せて存分に腕を振るうといい。
Witnessing the two adults' foolishness, I came to a decision and gave a nod to myself. Chihiro, it's dangerous out here, so you can wait in my room.
どうすればいいのでしょうか。
まあまあ、お客様なんですから、ゆっくりとソファーにでも座って。
Having overheard the development behind me, I let out a sigh and examined the contents of the fridge. Considering my luck, it made all the sense in the world that it would turn out like that. I certainly did get it. Grumbling to myself, I assessed all the available ingredients in the fridge. The outrageous selection could have been turned into anything, but desiring a short prep time, I decided on a Chinese base. Something warm and, out of concern for Chihiro, something low in calories. A Chinese chicken and rice bowl. Now I just need a salad and a soup. I sighed and constructed a cooking schedule in my head.
で、千尋ちゃんとレンジってどういう関係なのかな？
So we get his narration about the cooking in between lines of them having dialogues about him. First, I need to prepare 2 pots.
関係。いえ、ただのお友達だと思います。
I put oil in one and heated water for the soup in the other.
男女の間に友情は存在しないね。経験則だけど。
This is turning into a cooking step-by-step thing intertwined with dialogue. As the oil heated up, the chicken had to be cut into bite-sized pieces, then the eggplant as well.
男女の友情ってそういうものなのかしら？
Don't you have like a timer on it? Yeah, there we go. There you go. Then I combined the chicken with egg whites, flour, and salt.
大体は男の片思いで終わるんですけどね。
That was it for the preliminary arrangements.
期待したいんだけどな。
I put the meat in the pot when the oil started spattering, then worked on the eggplant and fried tofu.
レンジ君はそういうのではないと思います。ただ、優しいんです。
I left the pot on until the meat was ready, then took out a new frying pan.
おやおや。
After covering the pan in sesame oil and throwing it over the flame, I added bean chili paste and shiso leaves for flavor. What are shiso leaves? I've never heard of that. Then add the seasoning to the soup and let it simmer.
まあまあ
At the same time, I retrieved the chicken from the other pan and drained the excess oil.
一体レンジのどこが良かったのかしら。あの子ほら親から見てもバカだから。
What a mother! I then began work on the side salad. Did she say idiot? Never mind, I chopped the lettuce down to a good size, then added cucumber and shrimp.
そういうのが母性本能をくすぐることもあるのでは？
I used round slices of tomato in place of vinegar. Then mixed mayonnaise and soy sauce together. After moving that to a glass bowl, the salad was finally complete.
そうなのかしら。でもこの年まで浮いた話がなくて心配してたから。お母さん嬉しかった。
Next was the soup.
俺は見てて面白いんですけどね。
What did you see, Kuze-san? First, I put the base flavoring in the pot of water I'd set aside, then adorned it with the leftover cucumbers and some carrots as it simmered. Strong flavor, has a mysterious bright taste that reminds people of mint, basil, tarragon, cilantro, cinnamon, anise, or the smell of a mountain meadow after a rainstorm. Oh god, that's one of the most beautiful descriptions I have ever read about the spice. Thank you, Clinton. Saved me the effort of having to remember that and googling it after stream, which I probably would have forgotten because that's how my mind works. So appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm thanking you for going through the effort of retrieving the piece of information.
あ、でもきちんと否認はしなきゃダ
Oh
メよ。
god. Oh my god. Woman. Now then, that left the main dish.
否認
I slowly added some oil.
それはどうでしょう？
Then I transferred the oiled meat and eggplant into the frying pan. Hey, Kevin! Oh, Kevin! Oh, man! Like, you have outdo yourself every time. You make me blush. Thank you. You're so sweet. How's it going? Hope things are good with uni.
何か依存が
Objections? What the hell is that conversation, man? I added flour for thickness, then some sesame oil for flavor.
男のロマンの否定ですからね。
Oh my god, Kuze-san, shut up. I'm gonna smack you behind the head. I scooped rice into the bowls, then topped it with the chicken and eggplant from the frying pan along with some chopped scallions. I'm actually very interested in what he's making. Like, since it's so detailed and like step by step, I might want to make it sometime. Oh, Kevin, thank you so much. Thanks for dropping by. Good luck with everything. I'm sure you're gonna rock it. You are amazing and you're gonna do great. So just hang in there and take it step by step. We got your back and we're like cheering for you. Go, Kevin.
ロマン
Finally, I put the soup and salad in a bowl, then placed everything on a tray.
殿方の気持ちはわかりませんが、女性にとっては結構怖いことなんですけどね。
Complete.
何がですか
I washed my hands and took off the apron. I glared at the two nuisances. Could you stop talking about that already?
ごちそうさまでした。本当に美味しかったです。
Ah, what a relief. I showed Chihiro to my room and groaned. Until the meal ended, we were subjected to roundabout dirty jokes, and even though we took refuge in my room, I was still worn out. The taste of the meal had been the last thing on my mind. Kuze-san was probably just being himself, but Mom could have been a little more decent. At least Chihiro seemed to not understand the less straightforward jokes. The ones she did understand simply brought out cute reactions. Cuter is better. Despite the trouble caused by a certain duo, if I thought it over, I guess I could say it was pretty nice. Chihiro pulled out her notebook. What are you doing?
何を食べたのか記録を。
Ah, the part about taking care of your nutrition.
栄養もそうなのですが、 何時に食事をしたのかも忘れやすいのでメモしてるんです。レンジ君の料理は久しぶりの10点満点ですね。
Oh, my heart, I'm melting. His face is so adorable. Points?
ちなみに今日の朝食はご飯とお味噌汁、焼き魚で4点。昨日の夕食はイカとたらこのスパゲティとコンソメスープ。デザートにバナナがついて7点。
I looked over at her notebook as she gave her indifferent criticism. So that's your point system?
はい。食事は回数が多いのと、評価の感覚が難しいので、点数方式にしているみたいです。
Oh, that was a really scary thought. The idea of someone I cooked for rating me on a point system could be no more than an object of dread. Given another opportunity, it's highly unlikely that I would cut any corners.
でも、レンジ君のお母さんも口さんもいい方でしたね。
Man, I adore them. Like, just look at them. They're so adorable. I love them so much. Like, besides Yuko, who is just the character of my heart in this novel, I love them as a couple the most. It's just perfect and they're adorable and I can't. They do?
私の目を見ても何も言いませんでした。
Ah, yeah. That was true now that she mentioned it. I guess I hadn't noticed because I was already used to it. They were considerate of her feelings. That just came natural to them, I suppose. As I pondered, she absent-mindedly surveyed the room.
男の子の部屋ってこうなんですね。
Is anything strange?
変ではないですが、匂いが違います。
I felt a little awkward watching her sniff. After she looked over all the furniture, she took an interest in my bookshelf. That's a nice bookshelf. I would take an interest in it too. What is it?
ほとんどタイトルが読めません。
They have too many kanjis that are difficult for her, maybe. There are lots of foreign books, aren't there? Ah, okay, it's the foreign ones. Okay. Whew. I mentioned I used to move around a lot. Those are mostly from Europe.
引っ越しが多い？
I guess you didn't write it down.
そうかもしれません。ごめんなさい。
I have Japanese books as well. I ignored her apology and pointed out the more familiar group on the not so sorted bookshelf. The Japanese books are mostly historical novels and mysteries, I guess. There are quite a few light novels too. As far as fantasies go, I'd say the foreign ones are better.
なるほど。レンジ君もこの人の本を持っているのですね。
Which one?
これです。
She pointed at the corner of the shelf. I do own some manga. I have like a tiny collection. But not right here. I have a couple of volumes here, but most of it is at my parents' place. Because right now I live in a tiny space with only just one shelf for books, actually. So, yeah, that's space for storage of books is low. But we are planning to move in the not so far future, and there I will get my own bookshelf and get my collection of manga with me. It was a famous lady's work. She was still a student when she debuted and became the youngest recorded winner of Kodansha's Best Newcomer Award. Let me see. I have quite a bit of manga from Arina Tanemura because I liked her quite a bit when I started out reading them. I have the entire Ouran High School Host Club in a nice box set. I have some Code Geass, both light novels and manga. I have some One Punch Man, which I think I have a couple of volumes with me here as well. Yes, I do. What else did I buy? Remember. I have some photos somewhere, but yeah, these are the top ones that come to mind, especially the Arena ones. Oh, I have some of the Zelda volumes as well. They made manga for inspired by the games. I'm a big Zelda fan, so I own that too. Not the full collection though. I'm still missing some volumes. I should order some. I should. Yeah. Like I said, not big, not incredibly big, but yeah, at the time when I was buying it, I gravitated towards the title that meant something to me, although they weren't necessarily the most popular ones. Yeah. As soon as it had been on sale, it was right on my list of books to order.
3作目以降も出ていたんですね。
She sighed, deeply moved, and counted the lined up books. Have you read them before?
4年前までに読んでいたのは2作目まででしたので。
Is that so? I'll lend you them if you want. You won't be able to remember them.
いえ、いいんです。
She slowly shook her head. Yes, they made some light novels. They're pretty good. I was quite impressed with them. Who do you mean? Wait, I don't know who. First of all, I don't know who that is. Forgive me. But who do you mean, Renji? Or, a German philosopher. Okay, I see. She slowly shook her head.
おそらく何度も読んでいると思います。もしかしたら私の本棚にもあるかもしれません。あると思います。
How could she talk so indifferently? She seemed so eager a moment ago. With an uncaring face, she resumed gazing at the books.
私の唯一の利点です。飽きるということがないので、同じ本でも何度も楽しめます。
Thank you for the reassurance. I can't really say that's a good thing.
事実ですから。
She said so while a grin came to her face, tilting her head as if she were embarrassed.
嫌ですけど、そろそろこちらの小説の話をしましょうか。
It was very interesting. I returned a notebook containing her ideas and gave her my
お
conclusion.
世辞は結構です。
It's not a good idea to start with such a negative attitude.
面白いはずありません。そういう話じゃないです。暗いです。地味です。可愛げもありません。
Oh, I already said something I shouldn't have. Great. No, first of all, that really was my impression. I wouldn't lie about this. It won't help if you glare at me.
意地悪です。
Sulking won't help either. Such are the thoughts of the person who read it.
わかりました。今度からうかつな約束はしないようにします。
What careless promise? Grumbling, she nodded even after amending that latter half. I'm sorry, Beatrice. I'm sorry. Something gloomy can be... Yes, something gloomy, sad, plain, whatever, you know, lonely, not lovely at all can still be interesting. It doesn't have to be joyful and full of glee and rainbows to be interesting. Actually, I would say that if it's that, it would most likely gravitate towards the uninteresting side of the scale. Oh, don't worry. I'm not sure I can point to any off the top of my head either. And I'm Romanian, so it's fine. Anyway, let's get this started. It would be a problem if she tried to run away again, so I tried to get the process going in a hurry. I took out a memo pad and clicked my mechanical pencil. This certainly made me feel like an editor. What method do you use? Do you write by hand?
ノートパソコンです。
Laptops are pretty useful.
子供の頃からいじっていたので、文字を打つとかメールくらいなら普通にできます。
Good one, Infinity, and thank you, thank you. I see. Would you call it the forte of a modern child? With no more than 13 hours to work with, I had thought writing by hand would be a problem. This just reinforced my point. In that case, you could work on it even at the station.
さすがに駅では資料がないので書きづらいと思います。多分。
Materials? Ah, is that so? It made sense that no matter how she wrote, she'd need her materials. With her handicap, she would likely need them more frequently than normal. Okay, I see what you mean, alright. In short, you need to go somewhere you could look things up online, or at least a place with materials available.
できれば本の方がいいですけど。
What about the internet?
情報量が多すぎて私自身が混乱するのと、作中の女の子も本に触れているので、
That makes sense, yeah.
そちらの方が良いと以前の私が言ってました。
Aww, that's so cool, Clinton. Did that friend enjoy the titles you recommended? So it's an episode of reading books to obtain knowledge.
はい。
Books, huh? Although we both loved reading, it's obvious that neither of us had a collection quite like a library's. Having said that, there wasn't a public library in the city, but how about the school library?
イメージには近いです。
If we go there, it won't be as cold as it was at the station. You'll be able to use your laptop too.
雰囲気もぴったりだとは思います。
We reached an agreement, but she still didn't look very enthusiastic about it. Would she be allowed in there though?
でも私は学校には入れないので、他の場所を考えないと。
Oh, interesting. Interesting criteria to decide. Steins Gate, woo. Perfect Insider. Wait. That sounds familiar. Is it what I'm thinking of? Or is it something else? Yes, Subete ga F ni naru. Yes, I've seen it too. I quite enjoyed it actually. It was a little bit weird. But I'm all up for weird stuff. Just hit me with the weird stuff. I might like it, I might not, but I'm all up for experiencing the weird. That's true, but I knew that, but I covered my mouth in thought and gazed at the floor. Was there any way we could make it work? The novel aside, I thought it would be nice for Chihiro to be able to go to school. I see. Cool. How should I put it? Although it'd be short, I felt such an experience would be precious. I hoped so, at least. I wanted to find some way to make it happen.
どうしました？
Chihiro slouched down to see me face to face. She's the older one, but peering straight at me and frankly inquiring about something. It was somewhat childlike. If you wore a uniform, wouldn't that make it okay?
Huh?
If you just wore a uniform, it wouldn't be weird to be there. You're the right age, and as long as you don't loiter around while classes are in session, nobody should become suspicious of whether you're an actual student or not. If I thought of it that way, my mother could actually pull it off. How scary. No, Clinton just means that he recommended a list of titles to the friend, and out of those titles, this had the lowest score. Yeah, I know that. I remember that people were kind of like iffy about it, so it didn't have such a great score. But I thought it was a worthwhile experience.
そうかもしれませんが、肝心の制服がありません。
What about buying one?
何か証明書か身分証が必要じゃないかと。それに、変えたとしても、そういういたずらをするにはちょっと高いものだと思いますけど。
Did she think it was a joke? She shook her head with a troubled smile. We'll just set aside deciding on the location for now. I stretched and looked at the ceiling. Being so serious was a little stifling. I figured it would be better just to solve things a little at a time. Then let's change the topic to how you write. What exactly can't you do?
どんなこととは。
I'll help you with whatever you can't do and make sure things are going along smoothly.
レンジ君は書かないんですか？
Looking at what you already have, I'm sure an amateur like me couldn't do it. Aw, that's so cool. A lot of stuff just gets overlooked. Yeah, there are really good ones between 7 and 8. Yep. I mean, anything that's above a 7 is actually good. Anything that's above 8 is okay. Definitely need to check it out because that must be great. So that's kind of how I see the scoring stuff. Anything above 8 is just great, and 7 is actually quite good too. I've enjoyed plenty of titles who had like a 7-ish kind of score. Without thinking, I ended up putting myself down. But what could I say? After reading her work, I challenged myself to write as well, but the result was terrible. I had come to realize that reading and writing were completely different things. I mean, of course they are.
どんどん私が追い詰められてます。
I never said I would write. I will be your editor.
他人事だと思って。
Alright, thank you for the explanation, Beatrice. Aww. It's really cool that you're so invested in the story. I definitely understand and respect that, my dude. She brought forth some unusually resentful sentiments. She was so reluctant, but at the same time, she really wanted to write it. Her insincerity was adorable. So what's going to be problematic? She sighed and straightened her back as though she finally gained the resolve.
おそらく一番の問題は一日では書き上がらないことです。話だけじゃなくて舞台や登場人物の印象や文体も毎回変わってしまうので、何度も何度も途中まで書いては前後が合わなくて書き直しているようです。私の場合はどれだけやっても飽きないので。
Well, doesn't that mean your writing will stay consistent until somewhere in the middle?
どうでしょう。ここ13時間のうちに見てないので分量はわかりませんが。
Well then, we'll leave confirming that for tomorrow. As I said that, she left a note in her idea notebook and turned the page.
ちなみに4年間で31回挑戦しているようですね。
31 times?
おそらく考えているだけとか、ちょっと手を入れてるのも加えれば倍以上になると思いますが。
Saekano, no, I have not. We'll have to see how that could be arranged, guys, because I mean, I haven't looked into it, but since it doesn't have like an doesn't have like a straight English release they can just like buy, get, and start. It might be a bit difficult on the technical side. I have heard of the anime for that, but I never watched it, so I do not know anything about the story. You've tried to write a single story over 60 times? I couldn't fathom such a number. She seemed to be surprised by her own past as well. Then, my job will be helping you to overcome that aspect.
私にはわかりません。お任せします。
Right. Is there anything else I should watch out for?
中身はそれだけできれば書けるかもしれませんが、
She squinted with a serious
と
face.
ても大切なことが一つあります。私が書かなくならないようにしてください。
No. Huh? I had no idea what she was saying now.
私も努力しますが、難しいとは思いますので、先に言っておきます。今日の私はいいんです。書くというお約束をしてからそう時間が経っていないので、感覚もずれていないので。でも、明日や明後日には、もう保証できないんです。
Ah, I see. I more or less understood what she wasn't able to say. And
おそらく理解しきれないと思います。
she shook her head like she had read my thoughts.
もし小説を書きたくないと私が言うときは、本当に書きたくないという気持ちになってるはずなんです。それは本当にそう思ってるんです。
Oh, okay. Was she saying that when the time comes, there was nothing we could do about it? It was a little hard to take, but it might just be true. That's why she hadn't been able to finish it until I approached her with the idea. Is that so? Yeah, I suppose I see now. I tapped my temple with the mechanical pencil. We wouldn't get anywhere by putting a half-hearted effort into it.
あの、い
Is there something else? She closed her mouth as quickly as she opened it, so I inquired gently. She was trembling. From the looks of it, it seemed she was having trouble making up her mind about something. It was the same look she had on the beach that day. So I waited quietly. After a minute or two, she spoke.
はっきり言えば、私のレンジ君への印象が昨日までと違うと思うんです。私たちは毎日のように駅で会ってるんですよね。早く会いたい。面白い人で優しい人で。そうここ最近の日記には書いてありました。
Her tone wasn't that of someone listing positive details, so I had a somewhat bad premonition. Based on her expression, I'd say that premonition wasn't too far off the mark.
でもズレが少しずつ出てます。
Alright, if it gets to that point, I will reach out and ask you. Thank you for offering your help.
多分今日の私は違うんです。うまく言えないのですが、レンジ君が嫌いじゃないんです。会わなくてはいけないなと思っていました。約束も分かってます。
Let's not go that far. It's alright. I can make do with advice over the internet. I'm a computer person. It's alright.
会いたかったわけじゃないんです。それが私なんです。
I understood that was because of her condition, but it still hurt. No, maybe it was just as she said. Maybe I still didn't understand. Was that it? How long has it been since I met you? I just came out and said what I wanted to ask. I couldn't put a date on it anymore.
11日です。日記もいつもと同じ1週間じゃなくて11日分を見直してるんですけど。ごめんなさい。
It's fine. Don't worry about it. She might start crying again if this kept up, so I forced myself to smile. Let's have some tea. We'll handle what's left tomorrow.
はい。
Neither of us could continue, so I led her back down to where my mother and Kuze-san were.
千尋ちゃん、晩ご飯食べていく？
The sun was starting to set. My mother happily met Chihiro as she began preparing to go
いえ
home.
大丈夫です。
The relaxed atmosphere around my mother and Kuze-san took her over. Wondering what was out of the ordinary about the situation, I would say that Chihiro was more plain when speaking with me. However, on the other hand, it was probably more comfortable for her to converse indirectly like that. With that in mind, I saw her off. See you tomorrow, Chihiro.
はい。それではまた明日。いつもの場所で。
She quickly bowed. Yeah.
それじゃ俺もこれで失礼します。
Kuze-san was heading over to Himura-san's place too, so he took the opportunity to offer Chihiro an escort. He was probably worried about Chihiro walking back alone. It's not like he was uncomfortable with it, but there was probably more to it than the fact that his friend was her caretaker. I saw them out and then thought I might help out with dinner. As I looked at my mother, she was staring at me. What?
千尋ちゃんの様子が変だったけど、二人の時に何かあったの？
That's speaking like she saw through everything. I couldn't offer much of an answer at that point.
レンジも何か焦ってない？
Huh?
部屋に誘えたからって女の子はそれが OK の合図ってわけじゃないんだから気をつけようね。
Forgive us. Forgive us, Infinity. And to us, it's not that familiar what Bay Area is. Since we're not, of the place, we're not locals. So at least to me, it just feels like an abstract thing. It's like, I heard people mention that in movies, but I don't have an instant picture in my mind of where that is geographically. Sorry. I see. That's not
違
it.
うの？
Not even close. I sighed with the same vigor as I shouted. I was an idiot for thinking she might have had something serious to say. Never mind. I'll just make dinner myself tonight. I'd go into a slump if I let myself get bored, so I rolled up my sleeves and set to work.
おほう、久々だねレンジ。何を作ってくれるのかしら？
He just cooked earlier. Like what? Who knows? I replied to my mother's delighted figure as I made my way to the kitchen. For now, there was nothing to do but wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow, when I meet a different Chihiro.
何かあった？
Oh, poor Shuichi. His name doesn't fit, so the I is on a separate line.
あまりにも何気ない声だったので反応が遅れてしまった。隣をゆっくりと歩く久世修一さんという方に顔を向ける。その人は穏やかに笑っていた。井村さんと似ているなと思う。どこか遠い笑い方だ。遠い場所から笑いかけられている気がする。そこまで考えて聞かれたことに答えなくてはと思った。いえ、大丈夫です。どうしました？
いや、何かあったかって聞かれて大丈夫って答えたら何かあったんだなって。
It's true.
そうですね。また余計なことを言ってしまった。もっと冷静であれと自分に言い聞かせる。みんなに心配されないように、気づかれないように、いつの間にか孤独になるように。
難しいな。
久世さんはそれだけつぶやいて視線を前に戻した。
何？
久世さんは 私と会ったことがあるのでしょうか。なんとなくそんな印象を受けたのだ。
何度かあるよ。俺は日村の知り合いだからね。千尋ちゃんのことも全部知ってる。
そうですか。ごめんなさい。
いやいや。
日村さんが待っているはずの教会で、久世さんは足を止めた。覚えていないけれど、私と何度か会ったことがあるというのは本当のようだ。彼は教会の戸を開けようとして、何か気になったのか、私を振り返った。
She probably did write about him, but imagine having to read that like 4 years worth of diaries, right? If he hadn't been mentioned in the past week or so, she wouldn't know, because like she only rereads, you know, a certain amount of previous days, right? And also the latest amount of previous days have been focused on Renji-kun, so it makes sense why at this time she wouldn't know him. It is what it is. He understands, and he's still a sweetheart and gentleman, despite being a prankster.
どうしました？
その顔を見せると、日村に俺が何かしたとか言われかねないな。
Oh my god. Oh, there's such a huge... when you put it in actual kilometers, oh my god. This world is big, yo. And yet we found ourselves here in this tiny, tiny stream of mine. How amazing is that? Huh?
可愛い顔が台無しだよ。
Spoiled? What does he
思わず
mean?
頬に触れる。それほどおかしな表情を作っていた覚えはないのだが。
面白い歌を教えてあげようか。歌って言っても和歌の方。行く山川、越え去りゆかば寂しさの。果てなむ国ぞ、今日も旅行く。牧水だな。
どういう意味ですか？
どれだけ多くの山や川を越えれば寂しさのない国があるのだろうか。そんなものないことを実は知っているのだが、今日も新たに旅をしていこうってね。
That's a cool sentiment. I love how you turned it into Malta's. Nice touch. Now we do have a feeling of, you know, the immensity of the distance. Oh my god.
寂しさと言ってますが、明るい歌なんですね。
It does. It seems hopeful.
それに、それは私のことなんでしょうか。
いや、違うな。今の歌は日村からの受け売りなんだ。ずっと前に君以外の誰かのために覚えてしまったんだろうな。あいつを呼んでくるよ。
Candy.
屋外に一人残されたまま、私は彼の言葉を反芻していた。私以外の誰かのために。そういえば私は日村さんのことをほとんど知らなかった。
I have no idea what those are.
記憶が消える前に出会った数少ない知人であるというだけで、それ以後に何がどうなっているのかを知らない。でも知ってどうすることもできず、お互いに慣れ合うしかなくて。
おかえり。
教会の戸が開いて日村さんが現れた。ただいま戻りました。
今日も楽しかったかい？
Oh man, I love Yu's voice. I love his voice so much. It's like there's a certain warmth in it. and softness, and yeah. Can't wait to get to the part of about him and Yuko.
はい。
そうか。よかった。
井村さんが頭を撫でてくれる。
His voice is like a hug. At least that's how it feels to me. It's really nice. What the hell are those? Okay, let me Google that quickly, because I'm curious now. Oh, I think I've seen the packaging, but I don't think I've ever had any. I gotcha.
優しいけれど、なぜか温かくはなくて、それは遠くにいるような触れ方だった。みんなが私を遠くにいるように見る。レンジ君だけが近くにいる。そんな気がするだけかもしれない。思いは消える。記憶は消える。レンジ君の家で覚えたぬくもりも冬の風に流されてこの体から消えていた。
It's getting a little warm in here. As I boiled everything in the pot, I considered opening the window and airing the place out. But I didn't feel like going through the trouble of closing it after.
いい匂い。
My mother unexpectedly popped in. It wasn't long ago that she had bunkered down in her room saying, I'll enjoy it more if I don't know what's in it, so call me when it's done.
で、結局何を作ってるの？
Tomato and lamb stew, along with the first asparagus and mushrooms of the season.
ふーん。
She didn't seem very interested in the inconspicuous menu. Even if her scrutiny of food was just a hobby, she was still a multinational avant-garde.
それじゃあサラダとデザートは？
Of course. It's kind of the same thing of like, are there kangaroos in Austria or something like that? It's one of these like misconceptions that people create based on like the weirdest of associations, and then there you are. Chicken and mango salad. Can I open a pack of almonds and jelly for dessert?
うん、なるほどね。もうちょっと時間がかかりそうかも。
It doesn't come from the candy. I would hope not. Oh my god, what does the country taste like? What kind of question is that? Like, what kind of answer are you looking for? I guess.
じゃあ、お母さんはアイロンでもかけてこようっと。
Okay. She quickly vanished after that declaration. The pot was bubbling. I had been watching the pot, but it didn't exactly require my exclusive attention. Chihiro's problem sure is complicated. In the end, those were my thoughts after taking a breath. She said my cooking this afternoon was delicious, but also that she'd easily forget about it. Her score of a perfect 10 remained, but she wouldn't remember the taste or joy of eating it. Even if she knows we met, spoke, and ate, her feelings won't remain, huh? Just cook for her another time! Don't get so hung up on it! That was something a normal person couldn't begin to comprehend. However, we didn't just have our everyday lives after this. We had to write a novel, so this isn't going to be easy. I turned the burner on low, then took a seat on the sofa. Even if she did something she enjoyed, it would only end badly if it was enough to overwhelm her. Aside from the weekends, we could only be together from 3 to 6 in the afternoon. The fact of the matter was that we didn't have enough time. Not only that, but her memories would slowly disappear as well. Poetic answers only. Okay. Oh, it means honey sweet. Oh, that's so cool. I shifted my grip and groaned. It'd be nice if Chihiro could at least go to school.
千尋ちゃんが学校？
My mother returned out of nowhere and repeated what I had just said. What happened to her ironing? It's nothing. I couldn't bring myself to tell her that Chihiro didn't go to school. However, with hand on cheek and head tilted, apparently her inquiry wasn't finished.
そういえば、千尋ちゃんの話って聞かないけど、転校生なのかな？
Transfer student? And what story aren't you asking about?
ほら、あんな目立つ子なのに、料理教室の話題にも出てきてなかったから。
Ah. Children must be a hot topic in her network of wives. Because we have bees, special bees. Okay, cool. 2 for 1, yes, it worked out. Awesome. Well, we know something new. And cute. If housewives her age got together, then it would only be natural for their children and I to be around the same age. Suddenly, it hit me. Hey mom, do you know anyone that would have an Ottawa Collegiate uniform lying around? Like someone who graduated and doesn't need it anymore?
制服って破れちゃったの？
It's not for me. I'm looking for a girl's uniform. It's for a girl that's transferring over. Uniforms are somewhat expensive and buying a brand new one is kind of... I managed to improvise a story, but it ended up sounding a lot more suspicious than I had originally thought. So, I'd like it if you could ask if anyone at your cooking class had a uniform they were not using. What do you think? A moment passed. I don't know why I asked so formally. Was I trying to be humble?
別にいいけど。
Really?
そういう話はよくあるし。あれ？
She suddenly spoke up. I wondered what it was, but for some reason it felt like she just noticed the fly buzzing around. What are you doing?
え？首をかしげてたんだけど？
I see. Her actions confused me from time to time. Maybe I was just an ungrateful child.
そうそう。そういえば制服なら久世さんが持っていたわね。
Ah ha 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 ha! I remember this. Huh? Kuze-san? She nodded. But I said I needed a girl's uniform.
そうよ。女の子用。明日にでも久世さんに聞いてみたら？
She said that, cheerful as usual. In contrast, my eyebrows slowly became furrowed in confusion. Why does Kuze-san have one? I guess you will
ゲ
find
ー
out.
ムなんて出ません。
Huh? I was about to call out to her when she whispered something mysterious. Chihiro?
はい、
It's me, Renji.
こんにちは。
Her ordinary response relieved me. It seems she was back from wherever she was a moment ago. Though for a moment, however silly it may be, I seriously wondered if a beam would shoot out or not.
すみません。ぼんやりしてて。何か言いましたか？
No, just the usual greeting.
そうですか。
The Chihiro of today was stranger than usual. She wasn't cool or cheerful, but rather a bit pensive. Did something happen?
いろいろと。
Oh. I read the atmosphere and decided not to question her further. A laser from her eye? Maybe not. Hopefully not.
小説を書くんですよね。
Oh, that's right. Let's go somewhere else for a bit. It's related to that. I was thinking we'd head to Kuze-san's place. I directed an uncertain smile at Chihiro, who looked doubtful. He might have a uniform for you.
当に探していたのですね。
That's right.
冗談だと思ってましたが、レンジ君は強調だからそうなんですね。
That he is. You'll be able to go to school with this, so be happy.
他人事だと思って。
Without responding, I rang Kuze-san's doorbell. After the second ring, he still didn't come out. This would normally make me think he wasn't around, but my gut told me otherwise, so I rang the bell a third time.
あーよーってレンジと珍しい組み合わせだね。
Good afternoon.
こんにちは。
若者は礼儀正しくていいね。
I won't meddle, but here.
いつも悪いね。
When he saw the pot I pulled out, he put on a delightful smile.
トマトの匂いだ。
They're leftovers from last night's dinner. Mom didn't make it though, I did.
感謝してるよ。とりあえずお母様には愛してます。結婚しましょう。俺の味噌汁を作ってくれ。の中からどれでもいいから伝えておいて。
How about none of the above?
というか、後ろ二つは何ですか？
Kuze-san simply smiled.
求婚。
Please don't use children as intermediaries for your adulterous invitations.
ちぇー。
Was he a child himself?
まあまあ、半分冗談だ。
And the other half?
話があるのかな。中入ってく？
He avoided answering me and pointed inside. Chihiro was with me, so he probably guessed something was up. If you don't mind.
いいよ、勝手に上がって。
The following question was a bit delicate, so I took a deep breath and walked in. His place was really big. He had a disorderly character, but maybe this clean interior revealed his true personality. It was a little warm in here, though. If I hadn't stayed focused, I would have spaced out.
で、話は何かな？
He looked at us with a pretty strange expression. I felt like a giraffe being stared at in a cage at the zoo. I feel good about it, actually, Beatrice. Like, the story is serious enough. Like, we don't need to be depressed all the way through. A little bit of, silliness to lighten the mood is good, because in the end I don't think Chihiro would want everyone to just be depressed about her condition, right? She wants to make the most out of the 13 hours that she gets. And so people acting normally and being goofy and silly around her is probably the desired way of them being, My throat is kind of dry. I have a request.
珍しいね。いいよ。よほど変なことでなきゃ何でも。世話になってるし。
As long as it's not weird. Well, Wouldn't a guy asking another guy for a girl's uniform count as weird? But Chihiro was standing there silently and gave off an aura like she definitely wouldn't ask herself. Guess I had no choice. Well. Jeez. This had gotten absurd, so I just went and said it. If you have a girl's uniform lying around, I'd like to borrow it.
え？制服を貸してほしい？ついに女装する気になったのか、レンジ。
I'm depressed about her anyway. I mean, yeah, I know, right? But how do I express this properly in the words that come to me at 11 p.m. after a tiring day and being up since 7? I feel like, even though it might sound weird and maybe a bit contradictory, being sad for her and also treating her like a normal person at the same time is the way to go here. It's the way of acknowledging her as a human being, right? Because I think if I was in her situation, I wouldn't want people fussing over me. I would just want things to be as... Normal is not the correct word, because, you know, my normal is not your normal, so normal is... I don't know, it's a weird concept. But natural. Yes, natural is the right word. I would want people to act the way that it came naturally to them. And if that natural is infused with a little bit of bittersweetness because of the thing that's happening to Chihiro, sure. But it shouldn't be just that, right? It shouldn't just be the bitterness and the you know, the depressing part. Because she's still alive, she's still trying her hardest, so in respect for that, we should just act natural. That's it. That's my I rest my case. It's for Chihiro to wear, not me. You really do have one?
うん、あるよ。
Yeah, of course he does. He looked through the closet at the back of the room.
確かクリーニングから帰ってきて、どこにしまったかな。
You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but why do you have one?
おいおい少年、君も男の子だな。
He spoke up with a theatrical voice.
まあ、社会勉強したい年頃ってのはいいね。懐かしい。お兄さんと夜通し語り合おうか。つまり記念品であり、さらに今マンネリ化した時に着せて半分だけ脱がすわけだが。
Bit too much information. Of course I'm a boy. That's pretty easy to understand even though it's so indirect.
何の話ですか？
You don't wanna know, sweetie.
千尋ちゃんに着せるのか。
Hey, I'm not like that. A question suddenly came to mind. Come to think of it, how did my mom know you had the girl's uniform anyway?
可愛いと思ったからぜひ着てほしかったんだけどね。
He answered without looking back. He was serious. This man was completely serious.
だから何の話ですか？
ところでさ、制服って学生服のことだよね。他のじゃなくて。
Alright, Infinity, and thank you so much for dropping by. Good luck with everything. Take care, and see you next time you're around. Bye.
他のものなんてあるんですか？
You're hopeless.
そうかな。ロマンだと思うんだけどな。
Kusa-san and I ignored Chihiro as we grumbled at each other. I'm not saying it's like the most conventional relationship, so I will not argue on that side, but you know, in their worlds, in their minds, it's fine. After excusing ourselves from his home, we went to visit my place. We actually managed to get our hands on a
で
uniform.
きてしまいましたね。
Chihiro seemed stunned. Was she still bothered by the earlier conversation? As for me, I scowled at the contents of the paper bag. Was it okay for Chihiro to even wear this? A strange feeling of wanting to know what it had been used for was apprehending me. While I was lost in thought, Chihiro tugged my sleeve. What is it?
制服ってどんなものか見てもいいですか？
Yeah, the uniform is pretty. She whispered, looking not at me but the bag. Weren't you uninterested? It was amusing to see this change. Her expression was loosening up. If you don't want to, you don't have to force yourself to wear it.
それを着て学校に行くのは嫌ですけど。
But
意地悪です。
I'm kidding. I grinned and handed over the bag. She took the uniform like a child opening a Christmas present. Aww. I was used to seeing that uniform at school, but she held it out like an elegant dress. She examined the uniform and spun it about. It was almost like watching a mannequin dancing. What's wrong? She suddenly stopped moving. After she looked at the uniform she was hugging, she looked up like she'd remembered something.
制服お姉ちゃんと一緒のものですよね。
A beautiful smile rose to her face. Yeah. If she went to Ottawa Collegiate, she probably wore it, unless there were special circumstances. Well then, shall we try to go to school tomorrow? What is it? What did she want to say? Her gaze was now wandering back and forth, and she was blushing.
その
She was almost whispering.
今からじゃダメですか？これ着てみたいし。
Oh.
笑わなくてもいいじゃないですか。
She was mad in a cute way. I waved my hands apologetically. Then I waited in the living room so she could change. She's changing, huh? If this were a novel or a manga, this would have been the scene where you tried to peek while she changed. How cliché. I thought it would take around 5 minutes, but as I got up to go watch the clock... Aww. That was quick. She was back in the living room before even a minute had passed. With a cheerful smile, she waved the hem of her skirt.
やっぱり変でしょうか。サイズはだいたい合ってるみたいなんですけど。
So cute! Cute. I thought I had gotten used to seeing that uniform, but the sight of her in it left me at a loss for words. How could I put it? Now I understood. Now I understood how Kuze-san felt. It suits you very well. That was all I could get out.
よかった。
She smiled in relief. The Ottawa uniform really did look great on her. No, let's settle down. I held my chest and took a deep breath. I couldn't stay so restless. This was the time to be serious. Oh no? What is it, Clinton? Though we had the uniform, people would notice if we acted suspicious while at school. Chihiro, come here for a second.
はい、なんでしょう。
I need to retie the ribbon. Don't move, okay? Chihiro stiffened up and I quickly fixed the ribbon. Everything seems in place. It would have been bad if she caught attention from some small mistake, but I might have been worrying too much. What's wrong?
なんでもありません。
She quickly took 3 steps backwards. Did something happen? Yes, you were very close to her. Well, whatever, shall we go? Yeah. I'm not sure who you mean. Do you mean Shiro from Fate Stay Night? Or do you mean Hiro, the very first, the hero, the narrator of the very first story? But also, what kind of path do you mean? I'm confused, sorry. Of course, it took a lot of effort after all. I held out my hand as though to escort her. Let's go to school. She murmured as we walked towards the school. Wait, I need to allow that. The pervy old guy. Oh, you mean the guy who gave them the uniform? Kuze-san? Shuichi Kuze? That's his name. I see where you would get Shiro though, from Shuichi maybe. Classes were over and it was also getting late. We probably wouldn't pass by anyone, but it was still nerve-wracking. No, it's alright, it's alright. Better to just, you know, instead of trying to use name, just describe them or something so I can catch on exactly what you mean. No, I think it was just like, she looks great in the uniform and he has feelings for her, so obviously he was just admiring her. And maybe a train of thought would have been like, oh, I see what Kuze-san means by, you know, looking at a pretty girl dressed up in a uniform or something is quite a sight to behold. But I don't think his thoughts went further than that, so it's fine. It's alright. I will tame Automod for you, it's no problem. Classes were over and it was also getting late. We probably wouldn't pass by anyone, but it was still nerve-wracking. No, rather than nerve-wracking, it might be better to call it pleasant excitement. Don't worry, nobody will pay us any mind if we walk along normally. Chihiro had become more stiff than necessary, so I whispered back to her.
普通の歩き方?
Yeah, just like you always do.
いつもどう歩いてましたっけ?
When you point it out like that, like it no longer is your normal way of walking. You're already walking weird because you're thinking about it. She looked at her limbs and puttered along somewhat nervously. I laughed at how serious she looked.
何?
It's nothing.
何ですか?
You're too excited. We'll be there soon, so just be patient.
我慢なんてしてません。
We both laughed. It was like an adventure. No, it was an adventure. Even upon entering the school, we didn't run into anyone. We could hear voices and footsteps from far off, but that was it. I should have been used to this place, but with Chihiro beside me, it was like a whole new experience.
学校。
She whispered briefly. It didn't look like she expected a reply. Yes, this was school. No matter how much the outside world changes, school would always be school. You could at times call it a scale representation of society, but for adults and the rest of the world, it was separate. One could say it was a different world with its own set of laws. I became aware of that. Yeah, I nodded to myself. Perhaps I could see things through Chihiro's mind right now. What had she taken in with her eyes or sensed with her skin during those 4 years? I wanted to share in her thoughts, and...
本の匂いがします。
She surveyed the library as if it were a flower garden. This was amusing. She was more captivated by the smell of books than the smell of flowers. Thank goodness, there don't seem to be any club members around either. I checked the reception desk and waiting room and began to talk to Chihiro at a normal volume.
人がいない。本を借りるときはどうすればいいんでしょうか?
There are barcodes on the lining of the spines of the books. You scan in your student ID, then the barcode of the book.
そんなことが。時代は変わりましたね。
You can use my ID if you need to borrow anything.
いいです。多分。
She looked curiously over the library, but stayed away from the actual bookshelves. I took a seat in a nearby chair.
そろそろ小説の話をしますか?
After about 5 minutes, she turned to me and asked that. Nah, today you should look around freely and just read whatever books you like.
いいのでしょうか?
Couldn't you put this atmosphere and what you feel from it into your novel?
はい。
Chihiro was so absorbed in her reading that we didn't speak at all. I gazed at her as she read. Though I had a book of my own, I was more fascinated by the girl before my eyes. At some point I had closed my eyes, imprinting her figure in my mind like a painting. All I could hear was the sound of pages turning. It reminded me of leaves rustling.
ありがとう。
Suddenly there was a quiet voice in my ear. I expected to see Chihiro in my face when I opened my eyes, but she was sitting the same as before, absorbed in her book. I probably just imagined what I had wanted to hear. Or so I thought.
ありがとう、レンジ君。
She smiled peacefully. That smile welled up from the bottom of her heart. Well, that was the 12th day. Lots of fun things happened that day, but actually there was something that occurred while I was at school. Something I never knew had happened until now. When I went to meet her at the station, she had said something strange. In order to know what she meant, I had to rewind time slightly.
今は冬だ。時折寝起きになんでこんなに寒いのだろうと思うことがある。私が覚えている最後の壊れていない風景は夏だったのだ。あの暑い日差しはどこに行ってしまったのか。そんなことを思い出すことが何度目で何日ぶりなのだろう。
千尋？
ぼんやりしている私を不思議そうに日村さんが見つめた。空気には鐘の音の余韻が漂っている。何でしょうか。
車には気をつけること。それと、知らない人にはついていかない。
わかりました。彼はどこか遠い笑い方をすると、教会の扉をきしませて姿を消した。麻生蓮司さんと15時に駅で会う。日記に書いてあった日常をトレースする。なるべくズレのないように、状況と会話と思考をうまく調整しなくてはならない。ここ1週間ほど、私は毎日のように麻生蓮司さんと会って遊んでいる。彼は私よりちょっと年上のお兄さん。私の障害を知っているので、気を使わず接することのできる稀有な人だ。私はつぶやきながらトントンとどうしても昨日やおととい、その前までの自分と今日の自分が重ならない。あまり良くない兆候だろう。日記には楽しそうな私の姿が描かれていたのだが、困ったことに楽しそうであればあるほど日記の描写が感情的で曖昧になっている。ちょっと注意しない。自分でも冷静すぎる嫌いのあるつぶやきが漏れた。どうも油断しているらしい。気をつけないといけない。何にという明確な答えがなかったが、そう思う。
あれ、千尋ちゃん？
はい。自分の名を呼ぶ声に立ち止まった。一体誰だろう。見知った人間という概念のない私は、周囲を歩く人混みの中に自分を注視している人影を求めた。
こんにちは。
若いお姉さんが笑みを向けてきた。その人物は記憶の中に該当するものもなく、この町で新しく知り合った数少ない知人の情報のどれとも一致しなかった。しかし私の名前を呼んだということは、それなりに親しい間柄であるのだろう。こんにちは。誰だかわからなかったがお辞儀する。適当な会話をしながら観察して、誰かを把握しなければならないなと気を引き締めた。
珍しい場所であったね。
そうですね。
どうしたの？こんな時間に。
こんな。
Yes, it's indeed her internal monologue is quite eye-opening and a little bit soul-crushing, but at the same time, you know, like I said earlier, I don't want to let the soul-crushing part take over, so I will set that aside, but also leave plenty of space for just respect and adoration for her, because she's a great character. She's a great human. Yeah, me too. Me too.
学校のことかと思い当たる。 それで相手が誰だか分かった。私をそこまで知っていて、私が知らない相手は、ここ最近ではレンジ君と久世さんともう一人しかいなかったからだ。レンジ君のお母さんですか。
そうよ。
日記に若いとは書かれていたが、これは確かに驚きだ。
千尋ちゃんは風邪をひいてお休みとか？
学校には行ってないんです。
あ、そうなんだ。てっきりおサボりかと思ったけど、それなら全然 OK だね。
何かおこごとか詮索でもあるかと思ったが、レンジ君のお母さんは何でもないように笑った。変な人。私から言うべきこともなくて黙り込んでしまう。
どうしたの？
Yeah, that one is narrated in first person, right?
いえ、何も。
But the monologues are really good, so
こうい
it's
う
not a
不
bad
確定
thing.
な出会いは苦手だ。レンジ君との会話なら日記に細かく書いてあったが、その母親とどこまで何を話したのかは記述されていなかった。私の障害を知っているのかいないのか、下手に話すとボロが出そうで困ってしまう。
千尋ちゃん、お昼ご飯食べた？
いえ、まだですが。
甘いもの好き？
はい。
それじゃあお姉さんとご一緒しましょう。
お姉さん、さっきは母親と言っていたが、どちらが正解なのだろう。本当に困った。
おごっちゃうわよ。
私の沈黙をどう勘違いしたのか、得意げに胸を張られてしまう。そうではなく。
まあまあ、そんなに緊張しなくていいから。いろいろと聞きたいこともあるし、いろいろと話したいこともあるからね。まあまあまあまあ。ケーキの美味しい店を教えてもらったんだけど、一人で行くのもどうかなと思ってたところなんですよ。女の子同士、太るなら一連卓勝だよね。2個ずつ頼んで半分こして4個分味わってみましょ
う。事情を説明しきれない私は強引に腕を引かれて、駅とは全く違う方向に引きずられていくことになった。困った。どうしよう。
Alright, I guess now we're gonna get the scene at the shop, but I think I want to just save it here and leave it here for tonight because it's getting kind of late. We're a bit on the shorter side because not only did I start late, but I had technical difficulties in the beginning, so apologies for that. But we will pick it from here next time, which is tomorrow. Reminder that it is tomorrow. There we are. Man, I haven't worn this thing on stream for like forever. The fighty style. I guess it's more action oriented than what we usually do here. Indeed. Yeah. No problem. It's all right. We each have our own preferences, and that is perfectly fine. Oh, Clinton. Yeah, these they're different than my usual ones. These are my old ones. This is actually the pair with which I started streaming, and with this mic, which like right now it's just decoration because I'm actually speaking into the proper mic. Yeah, memories. Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, probably because the camera was kind of tiny, so then you wouldn't have noticed. But I appreciate you noticing. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, thanks so much for being here, guys. It was fun. Sorry again for the delay and the technical difficulties. I'll try to look into my headphones and see if they're actually broken or it was just like a weird Windows glitch or they just needed, I don't know, to be touched in the proper way to hear the sound. What do you mean? What did I say? Ah, I wasn't suggesting that. I swear I wasn't suggesting it. I did my nails too, but you can't like they're a light pink, so in this light maybe you can't really realize that they're done, but they are. I like it because it's subtle. It's alright. It's okay. I will look into my headphones, see if they're dead or something. That would be really sad because they're supposed to be better than these. And I've had these for much, much longer and they're still holding up. I use them every day for work, actually. I don't use the other ones much except for streaming, right? So it would be super sad if they broke or something. Oh, man. Yeah, I definitely did not say it that way. It's just Clinton doing a little bit of self-deprecating humor. I guess that's what it is. Yeah. Cool. So then I will see you guys again tomorrow with a little more of this. I'm quite enjoying myself. I love the story, so let's see. A wee bit cynical, a wee bit more, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. For now, nighty night. Take care, rest well. Or if you're not gonna go to bed too soon, then have a nice rest of your evening. Thanks again for joining me, and see you tomorrow if you're around. If not, it's okay. I will still be here next week on the regular schedule of Tuesday and Thursday. So whenever you have the time, drop by and we will welcome you with open arms. Take care and see you next time. Bye bye.